What's your Rochette, their blind, deaf moment?
I was a camp counselor, and there was this kid with a really strong case of strabismus, lazy, wandering eye. I did not know that. He was a really good kid, but a little bit of a troublemaker, and on like the first day I was asking him if he'd pulled some stunt or done some shit, and he's got his head turned away from me so he can see me out of the corner of his eye, so to speak, and I say, "Hey, man, look at me when I'm talking to you." It gets a little quiet in the room and he take a breath and says, "I am looking at you, Uncle Acarolo." The camp had all the kids call us uncle and counselor's name. I didn't know until after that he had pretty severe strabismus, and I made sure to apologize to him later that day. We got along fine, but I felt like a piece of shit for a while. I really should have known better, too. I have a sister with Down syndrome, so it's not like I don't know how to work with kids with different developmental delays or disabilities or whatever. There was an active shooter threat called into my school on the second day and we went into lockdown. They got on the announcements and told everyone to go to their homeroom, mainly to get the kids who were at lunch out of the cafeteria. They eventually evacuated to the buses and it was chaos. Kids were crying, calling their parents, running. It was the second day of school, so kids didn't know what bus numbers they had or anything. In the middle of everyone panicking, this girl I've had in class before asked where she could find room 345. I was like, "You need to go to your bus," because we were supposed to get everyone out of the building as soon as possible. She kept saying she needed to find 345 and that's when I realized she had no idea what was going on. I knew she was hard of hearing, but it didn't occur to me that she didn't hear any of the announcements and had no idea what was happening. So while the whole school was in a panic, she was just wandering around looking for her next class. I used to work at a place that had one of those "please proceed to counter number whatever" announcements to let people in the line know when someone was available. So many people would just walk up before I could press the button to call the next person. It drove me crazy because if I hadn't pushed the button it meant I was in the middle of doing something and not ready for the next person. One day it was busy, a guy did this and I just snapped and told him to get back in line because I hadn't called him. He just looked confused and motioned that he was deaf. He had no way of knowing whether he'd been called or not. Seemed like a really nice guy too. I felt bad. You need to know two things going on to this story. I'm in the UK and our buses have buttons on the upright posts that you push to ding the bell and alert the driver that you want to get off at the next stop. Kids and some idiots find it funny to ding the bell when they know it's not their stop. They just do it for some reason. So I was on the bus and it was pretty full. I'm standing, facing backwards down the bus. There's this constant ding, ding, ding for 10 minutes as we're leaving the city. Because I'm facing that way anyway, I eventually see that there's this fucking teenager just leaning on the bell while he's standing with his friend. 15 minutes I've been on the bus and this is still happening. I'm now giving this kid evils, really eyeballing him. He looks at me a couple of times and becomes a little uncomfortable, but he's still ringing the bell like an asshole. As the bus is leaving the city center it starts to empty. As the crowds clear, and as we come to a bus stop, he finally gets off the bell. Finally I see through the crowd properly and realize he's having a signing conversation with his friend. It's now my stop and I get off the bus having the horrifying realization that this kid has been inadvertently pressing the bell while having a conversation with his friend in sign language as some woman gives him death stare. He must have thought I was a total bigot. 1. Went to Six Flags when I was 14. I had $10 in my pocket that I had saved all day to play games to win a stuffed animal. When I walked up to a game to play, the money wasn't in my pocket. I asked a kid that was standing next to me if he saw me drop some money and he nodded yes. I asked if I could have it back and he just shrugged at me. I got mad and yelled at him, "Why would you tell me you saw me drop money if you weren't going to give it back?" He ran away and I walked back to my mom. I was telling her what happened when I looked over and saw him signing to his family. I felt like shit for yelling at a deaf kid. Worst part is, we got home, and I found the money. Not blind, deaf, but we were on a family road trip and stopped at a gas station to refuel. Nearby, a man was using one of those gas station vacuums to clean out his car. The guy was bent over the seat and his pants were halfway down his butt, basically mooning us. We were all poking fun at the guy. Pull up your pants, dude, come on, you have another hand, just use it. Then he straightened up and turned around to reveal that he was an amputee with only one arm. Oh oops. We were all inside the car and distanced from him, so there was no way he could have heard us making fun of him. I was a sophomore in marching band in high school and we were marching backwards but kept missing our mark by a shit ton. We were getting yelled at, so finally I snapped at the girl, who was a year older than me, on the far right, who we all followed with our peripheral vision. I was like, Jesus Christ, why can't you ever hit the fucking mark, are you blind or something? Then she was like, yeah, actually I am. Then proceeded to pop out her fake eye. You could hear a pin drop after that. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos, hit subscribe, smack the bell, and smash the like. I'm the Reddit Onion. See you next time.